Good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday. We have an upper body strength and core workout coming at you right now. For equipment today, I am going to be using everything you see over here, those 8-pound dumbbells, these loop bands, as well as this long band specifically. If you don't have something here, that's completely fine, as I'll be giving you guys options of all of these. And I also have an option that doesn't need anything for those of you who don't have bands, because I know some of us don't. Besides that, you need your mat. I'm not wearing shoes because I find it a little comfier in socks. And let's get this started. So we're going to start you guys off with sticking our arms out to the sides and lifting the arms up and down, keeping them as straight as possible, going through these little swimmers, I like to call them. So we'll go up and down, not counting. These ones are a little bit tedious to count. You can just follow along with me here, keeping those arms straight, chest up nice and high, and just breathing, trying to produce that burn in your shoulders. So we're going to flip the hands now like this, and now do these forward and backward. And we'll just do that for about the same amount of time. Straight arms, a little bit of fire brewing in your shoulders. We'll go through these. So right now, you guys can flip your hands back down, and we'll go over and under, swinging those arms all the way across the body, keeping them straight still. Again, crossing over, under, and I'll get you guys to count. You can start right now. We'll go 10 of these total, crossing over, under, counting every time, going through 10. Shoulders are warming up. When you are done, you can relax your arms down to your sides, and we'll roll those out backwards, about 3 big circles backwards, followed by 3 big circles forwards. Just moving your shoulders, everything in your upper back as much as we can, going through that one. Next one, we'll relax our shoulders, and we will tuck our chin in and try to circle the neck all the way around, looking up to the ceiling, not forcing anything because you're most likely doing this after or before you're doing much of anything else. We have a special appearance by Dusty the cat. And so we'll go back and forth a couple times with our neck here, just nice, slow and controlled, trying to warm up and kind of get everything moving through our shoulders and our neck. Once you guys are done that one, we are going to head down onto the floor, just a couple of circles each way in that one, getting into our all-four position, and we know so well. We're going to take one hand and put it behind our head like so, and do something similar to the thread of the needle where we reach through, but we're going to keep our hand back here. Close this, bringing our elbow close to the top of our hand, and then exhaling and opening up, trying to move through your mid-back, your upper back, not your hips. So the legs should stay still, and then we will close, and then exhale, and open, and we'll do 10 per side. And trying to exhale a little bit wider, a little bit deeper into this one to see if we can eventually maybe see right above ourselves at the ceiling. Might not happen, that's completely fine. We don't want to be forcing anything, especially not when we're talking about the neck and such. So we'll do 10 on one side, and then you guys can switcheroo and do the same thing on the other side. 10. This one, it definitely feels a little bit more limiting than the other one that we do, where we kind of reach our hand up and down. Something about having this hand back here really just makes us feel a little bit tighter. So once you guys are done this one, we are going to stand back up to the top and stick our arms above our head. Straight arms, nice and tall. First thing we're going to do is reach our shoulders and try to touch our shoulders to our ears. So I'll try to hug my shoulders to my ears, lose my neck, and then my arms are just straight. I know my hands kind of get cut off here. And then I'm going to pull down, make a fist in the hands, and pull my shoulders down and back, scooping my elbows forward, squeezing everything in my back, and then I'll reach back up and do that 10 times total. So we're trying to really squeeze our back and elbows push forward, and then we'll go through 10 of these total, and you should feel lots of work and action happening in those lats, the ones that run down the sides of our backs, these big back muscles here. And so we'll go through 10, stretching up, and then squeezing down 10 total. And that is going to lead us into the first official part of our strength. So we'll go through these 10. Once you guys are done, we are gonna start off with our first 2 exercises. So if you don't have your equipment close, go and get it, bring it out. Something that I did not note at the very beginning, I mean, we are going to be doing some rows and stuff, so if you guys are using, if you do have a TRX, if you want to incorporate that in today, it's easy for you to hang up, you can. Maybe not for the first part. The other thing is, which you can use for the first part, is that anchored band that I sometimes will do with you guys or talk about with you guys, where we'll take a long set band like this, I've even done it with the 2 loop bands, and I will attach it to something to give myself a band to pull against. So we're starting off with 2 exercises, a standing 1-arm press with a rotation, and a Superman with a pull-in. So we're going to start off with this standing 1-arm press. I'm going to be using my dumbbells. I will show you guys the band option, and then we'll go from there. So we're going to start off the first set here. I'm going to go right into this. We're doing 10 reps per side. So I'm holding both of my dumbbells, and I want the palm facing my chin here. And then I'm going to press up and rotate my hand. And I'm just going to kneel for the sake of you guys seeing what's happening with my hand here. I press, and then I rotate. So now my palm's facing out. If you're working with bands, what you're going to do is hold your band. And because the way we're holding the band, you're already getting much more work in your shoulders. So we don't have to worry so much about that rotation, but you do have to worry about staying really still on this anchoring arm over on this side. Okay, so we're doing this one standing, and you guys are 10 reps total. So we'll go 10 on one side, 10 on the other. If you're using the dumbbell, we're doing that rotation. If you're using the band, we have that rotation already happening because of the way we're holding the band. So we'll go through those. A 10 and 10, woo. And then, like I said, we are going to pair this with a Superman pull-in. The Superman is the one we know is down on the floor. So we're going to be down on our tummies. And if you guys are going to be using some form of band in front of you, you'll want it attached in front of you, of course. But some of us, maybe most of us, don't have that as an option. Like me, I have this book is right here. I can't attach a band to it. So what I'm going to do instead is hold a band sideways. I can use a loop band, or I can use my long band. I'm just going to use this same yellow one here. And I want my feet down. So my toes down, my legs down, everything down. We'll lift our upper body and then pull in, again, elbows down to the floor. My dumbbells actually come in my way. And so we'll go through these, keeping our legs down the entire time because we don't want to stress out our lower back, although you'll feel some work happening back there. We're going through 15 reps total, 1-5. 1-5. So we'll go through these 15 and trying to keep our hands and arms hovering above the floor the entire time. So if you're holding something, you're pulling it in towards you, doing that same thing as we did in the warm-up there, where I was asking you guys to like pull your shoulders kind of down and scoop your elbows down. Same situation down here, but now we have a little bit of resistance, and because we're laying on our tummies, we also have gravity, which is kind of pushing down on us. So we'll go through these 15, and then you guys are gonna get up and do it again. We have 3 more rounds of this stuff right here, and we do not need to take any rest in between. So you guys can get up and go right into your second set. So we're back to the first one. Just gonna angle this a little so you guys can watch my hand, give you a reminder. So again, we have the palm facing us. We want a very strong core. So that way we're not ending up like arching our back or using our legs or anything. So the first thing you guys want to do is kind of do that little bit of a crunch in your tummy. Align your hand. This arm is out and strong. And then we will exhale and press up over our head. Trying to keep everything in your body as still as possible. And that goes for whatever type of equipment you guys are using. You want to keep everything nice and strong. Okay. We've got a little focus situation going on this in the lighting in here, but it's okay. We're working with it. I have a ring light over here. You guys can't see it, but I think it helps. I don't know. Anyways, all right. So we'll go through this second set here. Then we go right from this 10 rep per side, shoulder press, rotation. I know there's lots of stuff going on there, but you guys got it. And then we are down on the floor for 15 of that Superman with the pull-in. And again, it is an upper body focused Superman. So we want to make sure to keep the legs down. For those of you who have maybe a pre-existing sensitive lower back, maybe you're just prone to like feeling your lower back and stuff, what you can do to help prevent that on that one down on the floor, because I know that one, and I really do have to be careful in that one. And so something that I've found really, really helps is when you're doing that Superman, activating your glutes, you're just squeezing your butt. This makes this tighter, and the tighter everything is in here. I always talk about like that built-in weight belt that we all have up in there. We have it, it's our core. And so if you activate that, it's gonna help everything in here just stay a lot safer. And so if you're feeling anything down here on that Superman, you can think about doing that on that next two, set number 3 and 4, because you guys have 2 more sets. Just trying to figure out how to word that. Okay, so we'll go right into your third one. Getting back to that first one, that standing press. Now we've done this a lot in that half kneeling position, which I've talked about before. Again, it's really to help prevent anything going back here. But I mean, we're up here now, and I want you guys just focusing on keeping your core nice and tight. And that's something that you have to think about. It does not just happen. You have to actually focus on it. So we'll try to do that on the set, definitely on your last one, because you guys have one more after this. And then move on. All right. So we'll go again right from that shoulder press into this pull in here, going through those 15 reps, trying to pull our shoulders down and back away from our ears. And feeling all of the things in our back. Sometimes as well on this Superman, especially if you guys are working on like a harder set floor, maybe your mat is not the the most cushiony mat. You might feel the rib cage as well, pushing into the floor. It might feel like a little bit of pressure there. If that's happening, you are probably maybe lifting up a little bit too much, and that will potentially eventually lead to you feeling your lower back. So try to do it without making that happen, and think more so movement through the shoulders, because that tends to help this one. So we'll get this set number 3. You guys have one more to go through. I feel I'm a little OCD, but there we go. Okay, fine set. So we'll get going into it, taking just the time that it takes us to get up and ready to start that last set. Set number 4. So 10 and 10. And then we have one more set of the Supermans, 15 of them. There you go. Okay, good job, you guys. There it is, both sides. Nice and strong through the core, strong through that non-pressing arm. And we're working with nice, slow, controlled reps. Last set of them. Okay, so you guys are getting there. We have about 2 minutes until we should be talking about the next part, starting the next part. So we'll finish up, take your time, you guys. Actually have lots of time to do one set of 15 reps of those ones. So we'll get down here and try to finish strong. For those of you who are feeling like maybe you weren't feeling the most in your back, what we'll do is add those slight pauses between every one of your reps. So we'll get down into that Superman position, pull in, and do not leave until you feel that action happening in those back muscles. You squeeze it there for a second, and then you can leave. Same thing I've talked about before with our hip thrusts. Because we can't really like progress this one too strong, we want to make sure we are really, really feeling it. So let's get this last set, 15 reps total. This cat just jumped on the camera stand. Oh my goodness. Okay, so last set, you guys, 15 of them, and then we are going to stand up off the floor and move on to the next part. So once you guys are done, you can grab a quick sip of water. We are going to move on to the next part, which is working with some rows. So like I was saying, there's lots of ways we can do these rows, but those of you who want to incorporate TRXs, you can bring them out, set them up so that we have them for this next part. So what we're going to do is work you guys with a neutral grip row. We're working with 15 reps total. So I'm going to be using my dumbbells as well as my bands. okay? Because these rows, I want to make them really hard, and I only have 8-pound dumbbells. And for me personally, those are not going to be the hardest thing, and I don't want to spend so much time like pausing and going slow. So I'm going to incorporate my dumbbells and my bands together. It's definitely not something that you guys have to do. You can use either or, but if you do really want to challenge yourself, if you have both, you can try this out as well, okay? So TRXs, you're just going to do this standard. We're sending our arms into that neutral grip position, which is right in this like A-line position with our elbows like right here. So I'm going to do this like this with this band around my wrist like so. And then I'll have both of my dumbbells, one in each hand here. I'm going to stand up, nice posture, soft knees. I'll send my hips back behind me, so I'm in this bent over position here. And then I shall row into that neutral grip position. And not only do I have the weight of the dumbbells, but now I also have this lateral tension of the band. So it's helping me use a lot more through my back muscles, through my shoulders to do these reps. So we'll go through 15 total. First, if you don't have dumbbells, you just hold your band like this, pull that guy in. Don't have band, hold the dumbbells, pull it in. So we'll get you guys going through 15 reps total on that one. Okay, so yeah, complete burner. 15 of them. All right, and so there's lots of ways that we can row like that. That is just the way that I'm going to show you guys today. Of course, anchored bands, we've talked about TRXs, you can use all of those things. So we are going to pair this with a rear delt exercise. So the rear delts is the rear deltoid, the back of the shoulder. So we want to do something that is going to open up this way, which is going to be the band pull apart ideally. So if you guys have bands, we probably want a longer band, works better for this one so we can get the full range. If you don't have a long band like this, you can always double up your bands. If that's kind of like a hassle between your sets, I also have a great body weight option that you guys can do. So we want straight arms, we're going to pull across, going through 15 reps total, trying to relax the shoulders down and keep the arms straight, stop before the band goes loose, and stop before we hit our chest. So we'll be going through 15 of them total. If you guys do not have bands, we got the thumbs up, which is going to open up the shoulder, and then we squeeze those shoulder blades together, and you can count out 15 reps in this bent over position. So these two movements here don't necessarily work the exact same muscle, but they definitely work similar muscles. So once we're done this set of these pull aparts, well, first of all, you get a big burn-in. You're probably going to be feeling a lot up there, but we are going to be taking some rest. We'll take about 30 seconds, maybe 45, trying to keep it under a minute as per usual so that we can get through this stuff. And then we will go into our second, third, and fourth set. So you guys have 3 more to do. So again, we are taking slight rest in between. So you can grab yourself some water. You're probably going to want it. You're going to feel like you need it. Because of the dynamic of these two when you put them together. They burn a lot. So when you're feeling ready, we'll go into our next set here. You guys can get yourself set up. Again, if you are working with events, sometimes they're kind of annoying to get undone if you are doubling up. I seem to be getting lucky lately, but I have had a few instances where like the bands are one and like they do not come together. I have to get like a fork and like open it up. Anyways, it happens, but you know. Around the wrist, get an option for your second set. If you guys want to make it a little bit harder, if you didn't do this on your first set, and we will start our second, and we're ready. So 15 of them, again, for most of us, should be pretty hard to begin with, going through those 15. But if you're feeling like you want to make it a little bit more challenging, simply just think about it a little bit more. Spend some more time at the top of each rep. It doesn't have to be a full, 2 seconds or 3 seconds, but just enough so that you're actually feeling that work back there. So if you guys have not started already, we will start our third or second set. Always just drop everything and then I end up like tripping all over it. Okay, so once we're done that set of rows, we go right into the pull-up parts. Ain't no rest in between those 2. Only when you are done with those ones. There you go. So we should be feeling that in the back of the shoulder. You also might feel it kind of all over the place because of the rows that you just did for them. But it's all good. That's what we want. So we'll take this rest. You guys can grab a little bit of water. Think about how good you're feeling. All of those upper body things, your shoulders and your back. We have one more part after this. We have a little upper body circuit, and then we are hanging out on the floor for the last part. That is all about the core and the abs. Yay. So take your rest, you guys. Sip your water. When you're feeling ready, we will go into our third set. We have 2 more to get through. And remember, if you're kind of feeling antsy between these sets, like if you finish the pull-aparts and you are, you finish and you're like, ooh, and you feel like you need to go again and you're kind of ready to go again, you feel like you don't need the rest, that's what we're trying to avoid. I'm kind of always constantly trying to coach you guys and make you guys make this hard enough for yourselves. But you do have to take that into your own hands. Unfortunately, there's only so much I can do. So we have 2 more chances, 2 more sets to go through on here. So let's try our best to earn that rest and actually feel like we need it. Okay, so if you are not feeling that way, we'll try to make these harder somehow. All right. TRX is you walk your feet more under your mount point. So take a couple more steps close under. I know it feels really, really hard, but that's what's going to help you get stronger. All right. And if you're using dumbbells, bands, pause, think about it more. Squeeze those back muscles because we don't have other options. So we'll go through this set trying to really earn our rest. Yay. And you guys have, well, we have lots of time. You have about 7 minutes. Finish up this one, get 1 more in, lots of time to do our thing here. Okay. Pull apart, burn and shoulders. All right, good job, you guys. So we'll get this third set in. Moving it up, finishing strong. 1 more to go. So hopefully you're feeling, again, all of that a little bit more on this third set, and we should feel it progressively more each set as we're making these muscles work and get tired as we go through these sets. So grab some water. Now is the perfect time to get in that extra H2O between your sets. Distracts yourself, gets the water in, double win if you ask me. And then we have 1 last set. Yay! So you guys have lots of time to go through it, so don't worry about having to go fast. I want you guys to take your sweet time and make this so challenging. Like, you cannot do any more than those 15. I only want you to be able to get 15 reps in. I mean, maybe you could get 16 or 17, but they would not be pretty. So channel that energy in this last set, and let's get it in, you guys. Hopefully starting in the next 30 seconds so that we don't rest for too long. So let's get into it whenever you're ready. Final set of these ones. All right, so last set, 15 reps total of the rows, of the pull aparts, burning backs. There it is. Good job, you guys. So let's finish up nice and strong here. I'm trying to feel all of these reps, all 15 of them, making them so hard that we have to stop at 15. Let's do it. And then we have our last part. All right, so final set, taking your time, using that exhale, bringing it right into your band pull aparts. If you are no band, you're doing this guy here, squeezing those shoulder blades together. So same rules apply. We can hold here and really just focus on these little muscles, these rear delts in the back of your shoulders. They are not strong, big muscles, which is why this burns so much, and we don't need a lot to make them work. So we'll get the 15 in. Final set, you guys, yay, and then we're gonna move on to the next part. So once you're done, you can grab a little bit of water here. We have about 2 minutes until we should be starting the next part, or the last part of your strength, I should say. And then we have that little core at the end, of course. I already told you about that. All right, so we'll get this in. Once you guys are done, you can keep everything out. I suppose you will not need the TRXs because this stuff is not really the most TRX friendly exercises, but we'll see. Okay, so once you guys are done, again, grab a quick sip of water. We are going to move on to the last part here, which is a circuit of 3 strength exercises. So we're doing this circuit style, so we're not going to be taking any rest in between. We're just going back to back between these 3 movements. Only rest you can take is at the very end after I show you guys the last one. The last one is a burner, and you might just take about 30 seconds of rest. So what we're going to do to start off is a curl to lateral raise combination. You have 10 reps total, where we're going to be holding dumbbells, maybe bands in our hands, curling up to 90, letting them down, and then raising up into that T. And that combo is 1, and you're doing 10 reps total like this. So this is going to be our first one. So if you're using dumbbells, you're just going to hold them in your hands. You know, I'm just holding my imaginary ones here. If you're using bands, what you can do is hold the band like this. You can curl 1, 2, and then raise to the side, and that would be 1. Okay, so let's start our first set here. Let's do it up. 10 of them total. So palms face the legs. We want the lower part of the arm from the elbow down to pull up to 90, not the back of the arm to move back. So you want to pull up to 90, let them down. You want to punch the wall, and then lift into the T, and that's 1. And we are doing 10 of them total. So if your dumbbells are a little bit heavy, you're probably okay for the curl. But if the raise is like not going to happen, you can slightly curl and lift up with that slight bend in your arms if you need to. Not ideal, but will be a better option than you guys doing the old bouncy legs to get those dumbbells up, okay? So that's going to be our first one. Second one is a wide grip shoulder press. Ooh, we are coming out here, shoulder burning. So we want 90 degrees in the elbows here, not quite in line with our body, slightly in front of our body here. And then we're going to press up and over our head. Again, I'm just going to kneel so you guys can see what's happening here. We press up and bring them together. Not so much that they touch, but slightly together so that they're not in this wide position. That would be more like this. We want to bring them in and then back to the 90 degrees. So we'll go through 10 reps total of these ones. Now, if you guys don't have the dumbbells, you're going to hold this guy out here and then press up this band over your head in this wide grip fashion. Ooh. So we'll go through 10 of those. 10, 10. And then the last one, which is our external rotations. So there's 2 really great ways that we can do this. The first way is with a band, where we hold the band in front of us here and we open up the hands. So this is one that we've worked with before. We can use long band or loop band, holding it at 90 degrees like this. And then we open up so that we're moving through the shoulder, not moving the lower part of the arm away, but we're rotating outward. So 10 reps total. Now, if you guys don't have bands, another great way to do this is back in this bent over position. You want to bring the elbows up into this 90-degree spot here, and then we can external rotate like this, and you're going to get that same exact exercise happening with gravity being your resistance rather than the band. Okay, so you guys can go through your 10 reps like this, or with your band here opening up like this. So this is us. This is our circuit. We're going to go through 3 more sets of it, and then we are chilling on the floor. Actually, we're not chilling. We're going to be working, but we're going to be on the floor for the last bit here. So we'll get going right back into that first one, which was our little combination move, that curl to raise. And that's 1, and then we are going through 10 of them total. So we'll try to really separate these two. We don't want to accidentally like curl and then raise. We want to curl, lower them down, and then lift up all the way. And I'm a little nervous about putting a hole in my mom's wall over here. Straight arms though, and then 90 degrees, making sure they come straight at the bottom before you go into that lift. Itchy eye. Okay, so that is this one. 10 of them, little combination. Right when you guys have done that, we're going into that wide grip shoulder press. So you can do like a little shoulder check just to make sure that your elbows are staying in line with your armpits and they're not lowering down too much. You want to lift them up and then keep them up in that 90-degree position, which I know burns the shoulders, especially when we get to this last one, these external rotations. Okay, so we'll get you guys going on in that one. And right into our third one, which is going to be that external one for the shoulders. And so we want to pull apart this set using this long band here. If I was using this for real, I would probably loop my hands through a couple of times so that I didn't have so much band kind of hanging down there, and we'll go through 10 reps. And so we don't want a lot of resistance. If you guys are trying to do this with like a really strong band, and that is, if you do not recall, the type of pain we're always trying to avoid. So at any point, if we're feeling that like stabby, sharp pain anywhere in our shoulders, we want to stop and not make that happen, especially whenever we're doing any kind of rotator cuff work, like that one we just did there, that external rotation. It's helping us to strengthen the muscles through the shoulder, but not like so much the direct muscles in the shoulder. It's those little sneaky ones, the ones that will cause those underlying issues. And so by doing this, sometimes we can feel things that we didn't feel before, maybe from past injuries or like a car accident you got in or a sports injury when you were like 10 or something like that. And so if you're ever feeling that way, just don't let that happen, and try something else. And if you ever need options, you guys just send me a quick message and I will give you all the options for those ones. But should be good for most of us. I do not hear from you. So we'll get through this third set. You guys have 2 more to do to make it 4 total. How we do it at the time? So good. So very good. Just want to make sure we are. There we go. Okay. Burning shoulders. So we'll get through our third set. Nice work, you guys. Moving it up. We have about 5 minutes until we should be transitioning down onto the floor for the core. So we'll go through, again, 10 reps total. Taking our time with these ones. There you go. 10 of them. And then we have our last set. Good job, you guys. So again, if you get to this, the end of this third set, those external rotations, and you are like actual fire in your shoulders, then just take a second. You can even like shake them out or roll them out. Sometimes that movement helps to release that lactic acid, and that's what you're feeling in your shoulders. So it's called lactic acid. That's that burning sensation. So you need to just shake them out, roll them out, take a deep breath, and then we'll go into our last set. Because you guys have 1 more. So we'll get this final one in. Burning set. It's potentially the most important that we do with the most control. So take your time. Don't rush anything. 10 reps on each, which is nice because, you know, it could be 15, right? It could always be more. But we'll get through these nice and slow. Last set. So you want this controlled curl to raise, working right into that wide grip press. And then we'll finish off with this external rotations for the burning shoulders. Okay, and then we are not having to count anymore, which I don't know always excites me because I like working, not so much counting. Okay, we are good to go. Good job, you guys. So finish up nice and strong here on this last final set. Getting these in. I'll give you guys about 2 minutes until we will be starting the next part. So we'll finish up strong here. What is going on? I thought it was telling me that I was not connected to the internet, but it's not. It just wants to update. Not now. All right. So good job, you guys. We are going to take about 1 minute to our complete self. So we're just resting, breathing, maybe grabbing some water, and just kind of resting our shoulders because, ouch, that probably burned a lot the best way possible after doing all of that together just now. So take a little bit of time. We'll let you guys finish up if you're not quite done yet. The next 60 seconds. I have set our timer here for the last part, which is good news because it means that you don't have to count. Yay. So we're going to be working off of a timer for this last part, which is all about our core and ab muscles. We're on our back. We do not need any equipment. I have to double check. Except just your mat and your body. So you guys can put your bands and your dumbbells and all of that stuff away and aside. And I'm wondering, this is kind of, okay, we're just gonna, I know it's kind of like you're looking down, but that's okay. All right, so, yeah. We'd be hanging out down on the floor. So you guys are going to be coming down here for the last part here, working off of this timer. Have it set for 45 seconds on, 15 seconds off. So we're going to be working for 45 seconds, resting 15 seconds. We have 3 exercises that we're going to do. You guys are completing 4 rounds total. So this whole entire thing takes us 12 minutes. So we have plenty of time to finish this up and get a nice stretch in at the end because you most likely will want it after doing these exercises. So we're going to start off with the first one, which is, yes, I put them in a specific order, so I have to read them in that order. You guys are starting with this reverse crunch. So I'm going to show this one to you. The other 2, I will show you on the timer within that 15 seconds of rest that we have in between these rounds. But I'll show you this one first so that you can get going on it. So we have been here before. It's been a little bit since we've had this one in our core circuits, but I've showed this one to you guys before. We're going to take our hands, lift up our legs, and hug in our hips and rock our hips back and forth so that our arms and hands are supporting our hips. We want to push our lower back into the floor, just like any other core or ab exercise. And then we're going to lower the legs down, bent. You can tap your toes or heels on the floor. And then we'll exhale and try to lift our hips up as much as we can. So some of us are going to be able to get our hips higher than others. It really just depends on you. And we don't need a lot, just a little bit, okay? So this is going to be you. We're going to try this out for 45 seconds. And I'll show you guys ways to make it easier, ways to make it harder, and all of that within this 45 seconds, okay? And then I'll show you the other 2. Are you ready for this? Okay, starting in 3, 2, 1, and here we go. So again, we want support of the hips. We're lowering the legs and then exhale, and you can lift your hips straight up, trying to keep the legs bent. If you want to make it a little bit harder, you can straighten out the legs, like so. If you need to make it easier, you can even not lift your hips up and just work with this leg lower and lift like this, and really just work on pushing your back down. Because that is the most important, is that you have that core situation, that tight core going on this entire set, which you have 5 seconds left of. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Okay, so you guys are resting. The next one we're going to do has our hands behind our back, or behind our neck like this, and then our legs up like this. We're going to try to bring our lower back into the floor. Again, very important on this one, swish down. We'll lower both heels down and then exhale and try to touch our elbows to our knees. So inhale and then exhale And we're going with a little bit of support for our neck, but we're trying to keep the elbows open so that we really have to crunch up to get that contact. Now, if you can't touch those two, that's completely fine. We're just going to go in that direction. Most importantly is that your back is tight to the floor. So make that happen more than anything else here, okay? So 10 seconds. You got this. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Good job, you guys. Okay. So next one, we are going to flip-a-roo. We have an alternating side plank. So we're going to get ourselves into this position with our hands so that our forearms are like so. We want to make sure we have space. Feet are hip width apart, maybe a little bit wider. And then I'm going to roll my feet and open up into the side plank. And then I'll roll my feet back and then roll over to the other side. And we'll be going through this one for the 30 seconds that you guys have left. So if this one is too hard for you, you guys can always hold a plank, okay? And try to work on that plank position. And maybe once in a while, you can try to open up. We'll try our best to actually roll the feet though, so that way we're opening up the hips. We're not just twisting through the back. 10 seconds left. 3, 2, 1. Good job, you guys. Okay, rest. Nice work. So we have 3 more sets, and then we are yay. So we're going back to the first one, our reverse crunch. Yes. Whatever you guys did on our first set, we will try to do again on the second. So we support our hips, exhale, and then we'll lift those hips up. Now, especially in this one is very common one that we will feel tension and pressure in our lower back, especially as we go through. And if you're feeling that, if it's that like dull, achy feeling that gets worse and worse every rep that you go until eventually you have to stop, that is because you are making your core and abs work a lot harder than they're used to. You're putting them under a lot of stress. So they're asking your back muscles to help them out, which is why you're starting to feel that pain, if it's that dull pain, okay? You can work through that. 3, 2, 1, and rest. The pain we don't want to work through is, drum roll, the sharp, pinchy pain, okay? So you guys already knew that. I'm always talking about that, to how we want to avoid that. But that dull, aching sensation, we'll try our best to work through, okay? So this next one, arms up, legs up, squish the back down, drop the heels, and then exhale and try to crunch them together. So again, we're supporting our neck. You definitely do not have to touch, okay? Because not everyone's body is built like this. Not everyone can make that contact there, all right? And it's not necessarily like a strength thing. It's literally just the way we are, okay? The length of your legs, the length of your arms, of all your bones. And so don't stress too much about it. Stress the most about keeping your back down tight, tighter than you want to keep it, okay? 10 seconds left. Ooh, wait. Come on now. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Ooh, that's a burner. Okay, so we're gonna flip over and do our alternating side planks. There we go. All right, you guys ready? Let's do it. So we want to set up those hands, get open all the way up, rotate the hips, follow that hand with your eyes, and we'll go right and left. We're going to keep our hips low. Going through this for 20 more seconds. You guys got this. Alternating side plank. Such an underdog. This one is much harder than it looks. Especially if you see someone who makes it look easy, you're like, oh yeah. 10 seconds left. So just breathe through it. That always will help. You're breathing, holding your breath. 3, 2, 1, rest. Nice job, you guys. Okay. We are officially halfway. So we have 2 more sets. And then we are done the workout for the day. Yes. So we're back to the first one, reverse crunch. Here we go. So get yourself into formation. Support your hips. Pin your shoulders down to the floor. Don't let them roll up and lift up. The only thing that's lifting up is your hips off the floor. 30 seconds left. Nice job, you guys. Breathe through this. Reverse crunches. So again, we want to pull the shoulders down, try to squish that lower back down so we're not arching our back. 10 seconds left here. 3 more. Exhale up with the hips. 3, 2, 1. Rest. Nice job, you guys. Okay. So we have this knee to elbow crunch. Ooh, this one. Take a deep breath. Lift up those legs. Align your hands. And here we go. Exhale and crunch it all together. Trying to have both your shoulder blades leave the floor, not just your head and your neck poking forward. We want your whole entire body to curl and crunch up off the floor. And yes, I know that feels a lot harder, okay? And if it's too hard, then don't worry about the shoulders. Squish the back down, just worry about the legs lifting, okay? Or vice versa, maybe you want to just worry about the shoulders, not so much the legs. You can really customize this one if you need to. 10 seconds left. Same thing, we'll try to do about 3 more nice and controlled reps with a strong exhale. Bring it in, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Nice job. All right, alternating side planks. We're gonna bring us into our last set. Yay! So get yourself into position, forearms this way. I was quite specific about that. Here we go. As opposed to having your arms this way, this is a lot safer on your shoulders when you guys are opening and rotating like this. If you're just going to be holding a normal plank, you can always just hold it like this. But as soon as we go into that opening situation, we want to turn the forearms in so that we have a safer position to put weight on our shoulder when we're opening up into that side plank. 20 seconds. We always want to just prevent things. It's a lot easier than having to deal with them when they come along. It's preventing the injuries before they happen. 10 seconds left. And that's what that is there. So we'll breathe through these last couple reps. You guys have 1 more set. Then we're done. 3, 2, 1, and rest. All right, last set, my friends. This is it. The last one. It's going to take us to the finish line. Woohoo! Okay, get ready, because you are starting in 3, 2, 1, and here we go. So shoulders down, lower back down, and we'll work with this reverse crunch. Then trying to exhale and keeping the legs bent. If you want to try something a little harder, you can try straightening out the legs. But you are exhaling and breathing every time you lift those hips up. Oh, I know this one is hard. It really gets progressively harder between these sets, I know this. 10 more seconds left though, you guys can do this. Do something to just keep yourself moving, working all that up in there. A couple more reps. 3, 2, 1, and nice work. Good job. Okay. So on to this next one, giving yourself that support for your head and neck. Legs at 90 degrees. Squish the back down, lower the legs, and then we'll try to bring those two together. So we want to exhale as we come together, inhale as we open up, and go through that for 30 more seconds. You guys got this. We can do this. Just gotta breathe through it. Don't think about it. Just try to focus on your breath. Take about 3 more nice slow deep breaths, and you will be there. Maybe 4. So you guys have 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and rest for 15. But mostly just flip over because you gotta start the last one, the alternating side plank in 5 seconds, you guys. So get ready to get set and start right now. Here we go. Alternating side planks. Last set. Yes, we can so handle this. It's not gonna be easy, but I want you guys to maintain some form of a plank, obviously, preferably alternating side planks, but when in doubt, just hold it. Okay, don't leave, don't let your knees go down. Stay with us. You're really not going to make it widen up your feet, and that applies to both of these, the side and the regular plank. 20 seconds left. You guys can do this. Don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on me. Let's go. Let's go. Okay, keep your hips low. Open up your chest. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you guys are done. Amazing job. Okay, so we are going to stretch. You're already down on the floor. We're going to leave you guys with a couple stretches. Actually, I'm going to do a couple stretches with you guys, and then maybe leave you with a couple more. The first one is that bow and arrow. Oh, yes, we've been there before. We're going to do this one for stretching purposes, whereas on Monday, if you guys were here, we're pretty much all of our leg workouts, we do this with more of a dynamic purpose, whereas now we're going to stretch it. So I'm going to lay on my side here like so. I'll take this top leg and leave it underneath my bottom. So I'll tuck it in like this, and then I'll relax this knee down, shoulders together, hands together, big breath, and then we'll exhale and cross our body. And if you have space, we'll reach this arm straight across. If you don't have space, like me, I'm just going to keep my arm bent, but I will try to get this opposite shoulder down on the floor. Now, I have been working on this for years now, this bow and arrow position, so I am quite mobile. Proud to say, in this one, I can finally get my knee, my shoulder, everything down, and I can lay here comfortably. Now, you probably can't do that. Most of us probably cannot do this because this is quite a mobility demanding position. You need a lot of mobility through your back, through your hips. So if you have your shoulder off the floor like this, or your knee off the floor like this, we want to fix one of those. So what you can do is grab something, maybe a towel or a cushion, or I've used a foam roller before, and we'll put it underneath here and essentially lift up the floor so that you can have contact here and contact here. Because that's what I did to improve myself, is I allowed myself to just relax and stretch. And you can't relax when your leg is lifted up into the air, because it feels awkward and it feels like you're forcing things, because you essentially are. So we'll lift up the floor, find something to bring it up, and so you guys can relax into this. So we've been here for about almost a minute and a half now. I have my running clock going there. So we'll switch sides and we'll hold the same thing on the other side. And I'm just gonna do the old flipperoo so I can still stare at you guys, talk to you with my face. And so we'll switch sides and try to do the same thing on the other side. Now, most likely it's going to be quite even, but you might have one side that feels a lot tighter than the other. So same rules apply. I'm actually feeling quite good in here. But if you're feeling like the knee is up, then we'll just grab something to put underneath that knee. And so you'll hold this here, just relaxing into this one. This is really a full body stretch. You guys get your lower back, your mid back, your hips, your chest, your shoulders. We got it all in this one, and it feels so nice to hold. So we'll take about 30 more seconds and just breathe into this. So nice strong exhales. When you exhale, try to relax into the stretch. It feels so nice. Could stay here all day if you didn't have things to do. All right, so you guys can slowly bring yourself out of that one. We're gonna flip over. Oh yeah. Thought it was a spider. Nope. We're gonna flip over onto our front side for one more stretch here, and then I'm gonna let you guys be free. But this last one's gonna help us loosen up our mid back and lower back muscles. The whole back, really. We're gonna get into the all four position, rock our hips back, walk our hands away from our body. And I'm going to take my right hand, place it on top of my left hand, and then I will turn my shoulders towards that left side, and I can relax my head and actually kind of peek underneath here under my arm, and I'll feel a really big stretch on this top hand side, the one that I'm rotating away from.
And so I'll feel it through the back on the other side.
And we shall hold this.
So another one that feels quite nice, if you have some knee stuff going on, you might not feel the most comfortable in that really bent knee position. So you can grab yourself a chair or something to put your hands up on to do this on, so you're not bending your knees so much. So we'll stay here for about 15 more seconds, and then we'll get you guys to switch sides. Taking again a couple of deep breaths, feeling your back muscles lengthen. So we'll relax, and then you guys can switch. So now I'll take my left hand and put it on top of my right, and then I'll turn my shoulders towards the right. And now I'll feel it on this side, the top hand. So we'll take some deep breaths here, spending about 30 seconds on this side now. And feeling the stretch, it feels so good. And a couple more breaths, you guys. You guys can slowly bring yourself out of that.
We are done for the day. So any other stretches that you guys want to do, please feel free to do so. But you guys are done with me. So thank you so much from my blurry self. Thanks, Dave, for joining in live. Whoop, whoop. And if you guys watch the replay, please comment below so I know you were here. Have a great day, you guys, and I will see you tomorrow for legs. Bye.